Jen, watch Forbes.
All right, 7:05 on Tuesday evening. Better late than never. Boogie with the Bull Tuesday Night Live is on the air on the Dave Logan Facebook profile, on the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel. So come join us in the live chats. And with me right now, Jen, the homeschooling mom Woodruff, William Rayfield. You know Jen from all the stuff she does on Facebook. You know William from the uh, Patriots Lab Uncensored Groups, and the broadcasts that you see on Facebook. I know Jerry Michaels was going to join us, and a bunch of other people were invited. And if they show up, they show up. So let's see. Let's go. Let's go with Jen first. You say hello, and we'll kick down to William. We'll get into the broadcast, and it'll either be us or other people.
Hello, everybody. I'm so happy you're here tonight, and let's pick apart the news and see what's going on in the United States. Thanks.
Hey, good evening, Patriots. It's a great time to be on with Dave and Boogie with the Bull. I'm glad to be here tonight. I haven't been here in a minute, and I look forward to an amazing episode.
Yeah, I'm glad that you came. And Jen, you're always welcome. Jen, you should be doing your own broadcast, and we should be your guests.
Thank you.
Matter of fact, the 7 p.m. Eastern, all the guys that do broadcasts at 7 p.m. Eastern, Jerry Michaels with the American Rebellion over on Rumble now, and me, I should have to give up Tuesday or Thursday, and you should get your pick of Tuesday or Thursday. Although that 5 o'clock for you probably is not a good time with
dinner,
everything
right?
Everything going on in your house, 5 kids, the guy who was destined to build the first manual shift Ford.
It's still coming.
Ford Crown Vic police cruiser.
Right. He's working on it.
If it works, you never know. Ford might hire him to be the designer of a new Ford.
That's funny.
Anyway, let's see. So Jen, you started off, and then we'll go down to William. And Robin Brunson is watching us. Good evening, Robin. Glad to have you here.
Hi, Jen. Robin. What? No, did you?
I'm finished. I'm going to turn my mic off because I can hear what's going on in the kitchen anyway.
Oh, my kitchen. Pardon me.
What were we talking about in the green room, Jen? We were talking about.
It was my kitchen.
Oh yeah, I was talking about these ridiculous cases in New York that Trump is dealing with. It's like a witch hunt. It still is. They even say before the case starts, the judge says, "Oh, he's guilty," or what's her name? Sorry, Letitia James. She's like, "Oh yeah, that's why I'm here." She ran on that. She didn't get enough votes to be the mayor, so she dropped out of that race, and she decided to go for, what is she, a DA, a district attorney? She's something, but all she says she wants to do is get rid of Trump. And I'm thinking, you nasty woman. Do you want a stock market? Because we used to have a stock market when we had Trump. Do you want to feel protected? Because we used to feel protected when we had Trump. This is so stupid. Don't you want a wall? No, they don't. And the only reason why they don't is because they're getting votes. The more immigrants they get, the more votes they get. We are the only country in the history of the world that is opening their borders. And the reason why is for votes. And then everyone's saying, oh no, it's a humanitarian reach out. These people have no hope. And I'm like, we're in so much debt, and we still give millions and millions of dollars to other countries for no reason. And I'm frustrated about that. But yeah, go ahead. Please talk about this court case. William, you scared me because you said that, they're going to find him guilty. It sure does look like that. Tell me what you think.
Yeah, they are going to find him guilty. The judge already said that he was guilty of fraud before the case even started. He said, yeah, he's guilty of fraud. Letitia James said he's guilty of fraud. Eric Trump and the daughter, Ivanka the
Ivanka.
daughter. The appellate courts already said that their testimonies were past the statute of limitations, but the judge blatantly still had them come in and testify. Everything that he's doing, if it was legitimate going forward, it will be everything will be thrown out. So I still sit back and ask myself, why are they doing something when people blatantly know what they're doing? It's a scary situation that we're in, because every day that goes by just shows more and more of what a third world country we actually live in. So
Wow.
that's what we're dealing with now. We're dealing with people with power that are allowed to wield their power in a devilish way, and until the day comes when they no longer have power, will it cease to exist?
And do you believe, because I totally think that this is all funded by this weird little man in the I think is he in South America?
You talking
The
about George Soros?
Yeah, George, yeah, the man
Yeah.
of sorrows. And he wants to control the world. This is how he's doing it.
Hmm.
Paying everybody off to get rid of Trump, because that must be his biggest um competitor. It's ridiculous.
I don't know if anyone knows where George really is, and his son pretty much is like
Taken over.
the Kappa regime. I don't think he's
Right.
taken over. I just think he may be the front man running the show, but I'm sure he's taking orders from George.
Well,
Man.
and like you just said, Dave, there George Soros is nothing but he's a high lieutenant in a major organization. He's not the ringleader, but he plays a major role with his banking, finances, and things of that nature. So he's a major player, definitely. So I mean, but it all comes down, and it's sad, and we keep having to say it over and over again. It all comes down to just having a corrupt government. If people want to see what it's like to live under a authoritarian, what the word I'm looking for.
Authoritarian.
Thank you, homeschool
I'm
teacher.
there for you. No problem.
Yes, I love that tutoring. Love that tutoring. But it's amazing that we sit here somewhat hopeless, because we have to remember this is our government that's in control of all of this. I mean, if you're hopeless against anybody, it's going to be the government that serves us, and that's where we find ourselves.
Right. My biggest concern about George is that he is quoted as saying the crown jewel of his life will be taking down the United States of America. And I'm like, oh my God,
It's
anything bad that's happening is perpetuated from him. It's
if
ridiculous.
you or I said that, or William said it on a broadcast, posted it somewhere on Facebook, don't you think anybody in the Biden administration who was responsible would have us in the insurrection prison on our way out, long enough for the ink to dry on the execution order, and it'd be all done? Yet these people are doing the same thing. I mean, I've said it time and time again. I don't know how long Vladimir Putin has had an international arrest warrant for George Soros. But I swear to God, if I was president of the United States, I'd call Vlad and I'd just say, hey, let me know when your plane's landing and your goons are coming, and my goons will take you right to him, and he's gone. He's absolutely gone. But it's just more proof that, like everybody has said, these people operate in their own world. They make their own rules. They do whatever they want. Hillary Clinton is still with us, politically involved. I mean, she should, she sold to the Russians an asset of the United States of America.
Uranium. And Mueller, we still have Mueller. He took it. Oh, I know. We know the stuff. And we can't do anything about it.
Right. And then, 30,000 emails. Hillary Clinton's thing comes down to one thing and one thing only for me on the emails. Barack Obama wrote an executive order that said cabinet secretaries can carry 2 phones, their one department phone and their personal phone. And both need to be monitored on the servers of their department, meaning that your cabinet secretary phone is your home. Anything you do on your personal phone that is related to your job has to be copied and kept on the servers in your department. Hillary's guy didn't do it, or after she got nailed, somehow the emails disappeared. But anyway, they are in their own separate world.
Right. I think all of those emails are protecting Barack. That's all it is emails between her and Barack. It's not like there are personal emails. Why would she have our personal emails? We are nothing to her.
There were some personal. There were like 30,000 taken, and I don't believe that all 30,000 of them are relative to doing things that she shouldn't have done on email or things that she shouldn't have been doing.
Look, those emails are the same thing like Joe Biden's emails. They not only got information about Barack, what countries was she dealing with? What country leaders was she dealing with? What deals was she cut? It's not just strictly narrowed down to Barack Obama. This is where she conducted all of her illegal business.
Benghazi,
all whatever notes, everything she's done, whether Barack Obama included, all of that shit is there, just like Joe Biden. And you know what? Her 33,000 emails ain't shit compared to the 82,000 they just found on Joe Biden. But you got to remember, Joe Biden been doing this shit a long time.
Wow.
He's been doing it a long time. So, What up, Jerry?
Well then. Anyhow, how do you feel about this government shutdown? It's not going to be shut down. They're going to string it along. I don't really understand how they're doing this, but they are. And I'm just saying, stop spending because we have to pay that back. That's my children's. That's my children's future. All this debt they're going to have to carry. It's terrible.
It's a
How you doing, Ray? Nice to see you, Jen, Dave. How are you?
Doing good, Jerry.
Hi, Jerry.
I don't know what my internet looks like. It's pouring rain, but
it's all part of the major takeover. I mean, we're going in debt, but yet we're giving countries hundreds of billions of dollars. I mean, come on.
Right.
That's why I don't sit back and try to figure this out no more because I already know what the game is. I just try to figure out the plays. See, right. I try to figure out what they're going to do next, but nothing's going to surprise me because I figured out what the game was: destroy America. So now I'm just trying to figure out how they're doing it and how they're going about it. Right.
Next. That's Soros' crown jewel on his life. So he says, well, the biggest thing that I am frustrated about is this GDP, because if you're not, I like the income. I want to see income, not the outgoing money. That's depressing. What are we doing for our gross domestic product? I mean, oil is huge. And as soon as that dingbat signed off no on the Keystone XL pipeline, that hurt. I was like, no, not because we're going to have to pay high gas prices and food prices and everything else prices, but because that is just stupid. I mean, we had a plan. We were supposed to get this crude oil from West Canada. It was going to run all the way down to Texas, and they were going to refine it on the Gulf Coast. I mean, there were so many jobs. There was so much oil, and that was the plan. And you can't do that. These other things are not sustainable for a nation our size and this many people that use fossil fuels, energy of any kind. You cannot switch us over to electric. There is no sustainable electric anything besides burning crude oil. I'm sorry. There's no clean energy. I don't believe any of it.
In my mind, the worst thing, well, they've done a lot of worser things, but on the top of my head right now, one of the worst things Biden did was turning off the Keystone XL pipeline, which I understand was literally like days, weeks, minutes from being turned on,
right,
and ready to go, and saying no. And I'm all for business making money. So, I mean, and my thing has always been, my dad, when he had the coffee bars, it was cost plus 100% or 150% if he could get it. And in most cases, his prices were so good, he got it.
right.
Gas should be the same thing. But I mean, I understand that, it costs them 50 cents to make a gallon of gas. They're not going to sell it for $1. Okay, so make it $2, But my point was that Trump had us oil dependent on ourselves. I mean, we were supplying enough of our own. We weren't dependent on us, but we were supplying enough of our own. We had so much left over, we were selling it. And we were selling it for less than OPEC. I mean, we could have, aside from Putin doing things with that pipeline that supposedly Biden blew up anyway, somewhere in Europe. Anyway, we could have been a world superpower as far as oil for everybody. And so, I mean, a lot of the stuff that goes on every day, I just don't understand. Anyway.
Well, going from then to now, what's the number one thing that you need during a war?
Oil.
Okay. To deliberately blow up one pipeline and shut down the others, deliberately do it. There's always a method behind their madness. To just do it just like that. It wasn't just so the American people have to pay high gas prices. No, that's going to come along with it. But it deals a major blow during a world war. We don't realize how much. Right. We don't realize how much until it really gets in the woods of it, because we're going to get there. There's no pulling back from this shit. Nobody's retreating. Everything is full steam ahead. This is God help us until 2024. They have full reign. Unless a miracle happens, unless we get to see God work a miraculous miracle during our time, like he did allegedly back in the biblical days. Yo, we in for a hellacious, disastrous time.
A dark winter.
I mean, it is what it is.
Right.
You wait till American soldiers start coming home in flag draped coffins. It's gonna happen. This thing isn't gonna do nothing but escalate. And now we have the war here in America.
Okay, which wars are you specifically referring to? I know of what's going on between Palestine and Israel. And I hate to say Palestine because it's not even a real country. It's a desert. but that's how we refer to it. Palestine, Israel. And then we have the Ukraine, which we're giving all of our money to, and Russia, of course. And then what is the other one you're referring to besides the stress we have going on here at home?
Well,
you can't. You're not wrong. I'm not putting you on the spot.
No, I'm not saying that. What's going on with Israel and Palestine? That's just a microcosm of something much bigger in the Middle East. I mean, you might as well put Iran and Syria. You might as well put them at the top of the list. These are the Israel-Palestine portion of it is the minor leagues compared to what's really going on a bigger scope. I mean, it's like a city in America fighting, and America's not really a major player. Iran and Syria are the major players in this.
Yeah.
And Israel and this Palestine war is just being a proxy to generate momentum to the major. Remember what Trump did to Syria while he was sitting there with President Xi.
Yep.
Sitting there with the Chinese president, eating lunch, blowing the shit out of Syria, letting them know this is what would happen. This is what's going to happen. But, you know, I'm scared for this country. I am. Because, man, I'm not one to say to provoke any type of physical altercation.
Right.
But, dude, we're going to have to call it what? Self-defense?
Yeah.
I mean, I was talking to my man the other day. I said, we're going to have to go rescue the North because they ain't coming past the Mason-Dixon line. So, I mean, them sanctuary cities and all of them, when they start blowing shit up there, we're going to have to go rescue our homies up there in the North because they're going to be in a world of trouble.
Yeah.
Wow.
I want to cut to Jerry for a second, only because he's below me in Florida. It's raining down there. His internet gets bad. I don't know how much of a chance he'll get to talk on the broadcast, so I won't cut anybody off. And since I'm cutting off Jerry, I'm going to stop talking. Mr. Michaels.
I think we're headed to World War III. Somehow. It'll be with China. It'll be with Russia. I'm not sure we can win. I think we're going to see terrorist attacks on our land. And I actually think the American people are going to have to be involved. Because these people have been fighting a guerrilla war for thousands of years.
Wow.
And they haven't lost. And the reason they haven't lost is because it's a guerrilla war. Winning a guerrilla war is very, very hard. And the military isn't really set up to win a guerrilla war. And if you don't believe me, look to Vietnam. That's basically what Vietnam was. And they fought the war completely wrong to win, which I'm not so sure wasn't on purpose, but that's another story. And the amount of factions that we will have to fight, like I said, is you can bet the Chinese will be involved somehow, the Russians, definitely the Musrats. Anytime they see a weakness, they're going to punch. They're like sharks. They see chum on the water, they go for it. And this is not going to be good. It's not. And Americans are going to die. And the government doesn't seem to care when Americans die, whether it's here or overseas. I mean, they gave everybody the shot, and there's all kinds of people dropping dead from that instantly for no apparent reason other than they're calling it sudden adult death syndrome, which is, you took the shot, chances are you're going to die syndrome.
Population control.
They don't care.
Right.
It's a possibility. There's zero doubt that is a possibility. What happened to Dave? Did he die?
Oh, he's
What?
on top of
You
my
took a
head.
shot?
No,
Oh, is he?
he,
Okay.
no, he's doing good.
All right. That's funny, actually. Oh, there he is. All right.
Yeah, I clicked the wrong.
Yeah, I
I
don't.
clicked the wrong
You
mouse.
know, and I don't. I believe in righteous wars. If there is a war that needs to be fought for, even if it's somebody else's freedom, such as Israel, or you go to World War II. I always go to World War II. There was a madman just killing everybody, taking over everywhere in Europe, and running over people and countries and killing everybody. He needed to go, all right, and everybody needed to stop him. But then you have a war like Vietnam, where let them fight. Okay, Israel is it's not Israel in Gaza; it's Israel against just about the entire Middle East. That may be a righteous war. Ukraine is not a righteous war. Ukraine is a financial war for us. But look how many billions we have sent over there, and nobody is winning. And why? Because they have equalized both sides with weapons and money and so forth. Okay, they've equalized the war, so it's hard to win an equalized war. You need the superior firepower, you need the superior everything to win a war. And especially if your country the size of Ukraine going against some country the size of Russia. And we all know that Ukraine is, we'll say that whole thing is shady at best. And but how many people need to die? Governments don't care about the people. Governments only care about territory. Government cares about how much power they can gather. They care about their standing in the world and all this, but they don't give a shit about the people. If the United States government gave a crap about us, the taxes would be next to nothing. The roads would be fixed. We wouldn't be in any wars. Okay, we would be defending our own borders, and so on and so forth. But we're not doing any of that, and we won't. And maybe under Trump, he can change a few things. There's no doubt, and probably pretty quickly. Okay, Keystone Pipeline, the border, stuff like that. Relatively quickly, he can change that. But there is not one part of the United States of America that does not need to be fixed. Our society as a whole is in shambles with no morals. And I'm not saying everybody, but I am saying there are a lot where people are just, life is cheap. They don't care if they're, kicking the crap out of somebody because somebody didn't respect them, or robbing people, or all this stuff, and the crime rates are ridiculous because there are no adults in the room saying no, basically. And we sit here and we're watching this implode on us, every last American citizen. I don't care about your damn color, your damn anything. If you are an American citizen, you're watching this. And if you're one of the ones helping it, which by the way is every race, if you're helping it implode, you are the problem.
Wow.
Simple.
Well,
None of us are by any stretch, but some of us at least try to do the right things in life for ourselves, our families, and others. Okay, we try, and we go out of our from our house, and we try. Some people just don't. They don't care. And that's my little speech, I guess.
well, Jerry, there's some saving grace to it. I've been I think there has been a major explosion within the Democratic Party um, with this Israel Palestine thing. I always say God works in mysterious ways. Um, because this issue has really cut to the heart and soul of a lot of people. And you're starting to see the great divide within the Democratic Party. Within within itself. You really got to pay attention to it, because there are people in the Democratic Party that will die for Israel, and they hate seeing the heads that are arising within their party, and it's starting to become really it's really starting to become very interesting, because as even with the Trump issue and everything, I say people have to be touched in their own way to react in the right way sometimes. And I think with this Palestine Israel issue, the Democratic Party is at a crossroad. It's at a crossroad right now, because now they're dealing with their inner morals, their inner values. Before it was about politics and money and all, but now it's cutting to the core of how a lot of these people feel, how they were raised. A lot of these white people are Jewish or Catholic, and they take that very serious. They ain't letting none of these Hamas people come and cry this shit. They see, that's what they get for being all welcoming into our Congress and shit. If you're not American and you don't have American values, there's no way in hell you should be partaking in any government institutions that's going to direct this country. And now the Democrats. Agreed. They're starting to see it. They're starting to see it. I watched them talk today.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you something. And I've been watching this, obviously, like everyone, since the beginning. And what he's saying is absolutely correct. Even Debbie Wasserman Schultz is having second thoughts, and she's useless. She's from Florida. That's how I know. But I think
she's
actually
Jewish.
The entire
Jewish?
Yeah. Not only is she from Florida, she's Jewish.
Right.
Double insult.
But that never stopped her before from being a political maniac. Okay, just to say.
I know.
But the entire country, I think, has kind of opened their eyes. When you look at the millionaires and billionaires are not giving to, like these colleges with these idiots running around saying what they're saying, and so forth. There's a lot of people in this country that don't want to listen to this garbage, because cheering on terrorists, if you're cheering on terrorists, chances are you're one of them, or you are so ignorant that you don't realize you're a useful idiot. And the minute that they would take over, you would be thrown off a building or, whatever they do. Okay. So, yeah, I agree with him on that 1,000%. I think it's the country now, because I just see too many. And Israel is not perfect by any stretch, but nobody deserves to have happen what happened that day. And the way they're going about this war is actually the correct way. Let's go. Let's kill them all and be done with them after thousands of years. They have been at war for thousands of years, and people will continue to be at war as long as we keep appeasing them. If somebody shuts them down really hard, maybe they'll think twice. I sincerely doubt it, but you never know. Okay. And I think I'm hopeful, let's put it that way, that this country is also at a crossroads where, you know what, we need to be done with this identity politics and all this other garbage.
Yep.
And cheering on the terrorists and cheering on this and cheering on that. We need to stop. It's not right. And it's not, I don't care what Obama says. It's not that's not how we are as Americans. Americans are supposed to stand up for the little guy. Americans are supposed to, do righteous things, for the world, basically, and not necessarily war either. A matter of fact, very little of that. But we're supposed to be American.
Can I say one thing for my old age loses my thought? Do
Sure.
we not understand why this war has been going on for thousands of years? This is not a war of people. People come and go, and they'll continue to come and go. This is a war of ideology. We are not getting rid of it. That's why when I listen to these politicians, oh, we're going to go into Gaza. Like, you really expect me to believe that Hamas is just going to sit and stay in Gaza?
No.
No.
No, they're going to take Israel.
No. So I can't listen to that side of the story because I know it's not actual and factual and it doesn't make sense. This is a war that's been going on for thousands of years because it's a war of ideology. The grandkids of grandkids of grandkids will be fighting this war. That's why when they get on there and say, well, we're going to wipe them out of Gaza. Okay, are you going to go past Gaza? Because common sense is going to dictate they're not going to stay there and get blown up. No, they're going to live to fight another day while they raise another generation of people to hate. And it's going to continue to go on for thousands. This is going to be the battle, the definition between the battle of good and evil. The battle of good and evil will never end. Unfortunately.
I don't think even if Israel and Hamas ended it tomorrow, said we're all done, we're going to coexist on the planet tomorrow, it wouldn't happen anyway. It might last a week, might last 2 weeks, but sooner or later, even if they're all in a bar drinking one night, one Israeli is going to say something to a Hamas, or the Hamas is going to say something to Israel. There's going to be a bar fight. People are going to die, and we're all going to be back at war together.
Listen,
they only quit, Dave, when they need to regroup. I've noticed throughout history with these people, actually in a lot of different wars with different people, they
right.
quit when they want to regroup. And they are, let's face it, they've been fighting for thousands of years, so they are extremely patient. So if they got to wait 5 years to start up again or something to that effect, they will wait the 5 years, and they're allowed to lie. So they will tell you they're your best friend, and when you get comfortable again is when they strike, and that is probably an age-old military tactic. You always try to have the surprise, and they're good at it. It's not like they're not good at it. It's just that they don't. We're very lucky they don't have the weaponry and the military know-how to come in and do real damage. I mean, we got Iran with nuclear weapons, so that may change, frankly.
And do you know how I know it's an ideology? America has its own identity and its own ideology. But do you know how long Israelis and Palestinians have been living in America together? I've been watching shows and documentaries. But now they're at odds with one another, whether it dictate that they take sides because of family or whatever. But now they're at odds, just like it was with us patriots and our families, how we had our issues. But yeah, Israelis and Palestinians were living great in America together amongst one another, because that isn't the ideology that's here in America. But in the Middle East, it's a totally different story, totally different way of thinking, totally different.
Wow, I'm amazed that is our only ally in that direction in the Middle East. Our ally is Israel, and it's like we forgot about that. Why in the heck Did Biden give an open-ended check to Zelensky? We're not
No,
allies with them. We're fighting for
we
freedom
have
for them? Is it
we
another
have
Vietnam?
Saudi Arabia as one of our allies. The problem is does anyone here trust Saudi Arabia?
No.
You know what I mean? Okay, and the only reason we're with
I don't
Saudi
trust none of
Arabia is
them
because we
turbans.
buy their oil and that kind of stuff. No, I don't trust them either, and I don't think really any right-thinking person would. Why would you? All you got to know is they're allowed to lie to you at any time. So on our level, that doesn't hurt too bad. But on a governmental level, where you're trying to protect the country, that means a lot. So, how many peace treaties in my lifetime? There's been 2 or 3 peace treaties with major players brought on in the Middle East, and who breaks them every single time? Okay, and like I said, they regroup, and then bad stuff happens. And to be truthful, I'm surprised they have waited this long in the United States to not have another something happen. I really am surprised because we have the weakest president in the history of this country in office right now. Okay. We all know that he's a potato. He's, a matter of fact, potatoes are smarter. Okay. And they got more wherewithal of what the hell's going on, but I'm very surprised there hasn't been something major happen. And he could, and I believe it will, and I don't look forward to it because it could be any one of us who gets caught in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yep.
Anybody you see here, anybody in the comments, you're out at the store, and next thing you know, gunfire and maybe bombs, or your children at a concert. They did that in France, if you remember, with the concert for somebody. And people out on a Friday night in France, and like 123 of them didn't get home because they were dead. And our government, every time, including 9/11, they have known these people. They've known of these people, the FBI, the CIA, whoever. They've known of these people and have done nothing.
Can I add one little comment?
In America,
that in some cases, I think the CIA was involved in a lot of this stuff.
It's possible, Dave. I'm not just saying it's possible. Yeah. I don't know. The CIA is involved in everything. They need to stop. Yeah. But
the CIA's pushed so much.
The Parkland thing down here at high school got shot up. Okay, they knew this guy. And and don't tell me the FBI has to go by the law. The FBI is throwing people in prison right now, in jail, for trespassing and not letting them out. They're breaking every single right they have, and we're sitting here worried about Muslims and so forth. And they're right, screw them. Throw them in to get mowed. Throw them out of the country. I don't care what you do. Just get them out, because nothing good's going to happen.
The school police dispatcher down in Parkland that night saw the Uber pull up, saw the guy unloading bags that he took inside, which were probably all the weapons, knew that he was suspended, was not even or expelled, I think at that point, not even welcome there as a student, but because there was supposed to be a music program that night and they thought they mistook him for one of the musicians, they let him in.
But, that whole thing was, what that was based on? That whole thing, the whole response, everything had to do with basically paperwork. They did. The sheriff, Scott Israel, who was horrible, was the sheriff, and he was trying to make the paperwork reflect that the problems in the school, violence, all that kind of thing, had gone down so much under his watch. This is the problem with government numbers. That's what they do. And as it turns out, They the FBI knew of him. The state of Florida knew of him. The sheriff's department knew of him 6 or 7 different times. His own mother begged them and the courts to do something with this kid because she was afraid of him, and nobody did anything.
Yeah.
And because of that, people are dead. And I'm hearing about how I'm a criminal because I own a gun. So, and it's the same thing with the terrorists. Anytime there's a terrorist attack, the FBI knows who they are. Okay, they know who they are.
Wow. It's scary times. But I was going to say, was that okay? I just wanted to say real quick, I was at a funeral today. That guy that passed away, it was one of my friend's fathers. And I missed a show, one of Jerry's American Rebellions on a Friday night. It was sad because he had a massive heart attack. Well, today was the day of the funeral. And so we're at this funeral, and everyone knows what's going on in the world. I mean, it's a stressful time. And I asked this woman there, this aunt of one of the kids, and I said, "How are your preps? How is your prepping going?" Meaning your beans, bullets, band-aids, stuff like that, your food. Because there's a lot of people, they have these boxes, and I think this is amazing. These tubs, they're like, airtight tubs. And they have 52 of them. And in each tub, they have a week's worth of preps, such as, a couple cans of vegetables, a couple cans of fruit. They have a few starches, a bag of rice, a box of noodles, some sauce. And I was so impressed. And then they have a can of tuna or some kind of meat. But, and this is just a family of 3. Okay. Now, this woman, of course, we're mourning the guy's death and trying to be friends with each other and make sure that everyone is pressing on and still living the life and, teach your children, feed your family, cut the grass, stupid stuff like that. And this lady ends with, I says, "How's your prepping going?" And she goes, "Oh, honey, I don't do that anymore." And I said, "Why?" And she goes, "Because we have Jesus." And it terrified me. And I thought of something that we were talking about on the American Rebellion last night. There is no easy way out. I know they're all referring to this, I call it the Great Departure, and no one really knows. It's in the Greek. There's this little word, ek, E-C, and that means the rapture. And I'm like, you're really banking on that, aren't you? That little 2-letter Greek word. I'm saying, do you know what Jesus told us to do? First of all, one of his favorites was Peter, and he carried a sword. I'm like, you need to be armed. You need to prepare. Do you remember, this story? Well, we'll go back to the Old Testament. Who was that one kid? He was the Prince of Egypt, and he said, "We're going to store grain." He was the kid that was sold. It was the last of Abraham's sons. He had 12 sons, and it was the 12th tribe of Judah. And this kid was sold to the Egyptians, and he became the Prince of Egypt. And he said, "We're going to store grain." And he had silo and silo full of grain. And they said, "What are you saving this for?" But when the war hit, everyone was happy and they were all prepared for it. And there are so many stories like that in the Bible. So I'm like sick of hearing this Christian jargon about their great departure where they don't have to do anything. Yeah, you do. And like I always talk about, pick up your piece of the puzzle and play it. Provide for your family. Protect your family. I'm not saying give everyone guns, but our girls they're going to go to a self-defense class and they have pepper spray. You're not going out in this crazy climate of people, invaders. I mean, our whole country was invaded, and it's like we forgot about that. I mean, it's important to be concerned about what's going on in the Middle East and the Ukraine, but at the same time, we have got to be prepared here at home. We've got to keep building what we started building, protect what you've got going on. And at the same time, I don't remember what the third part of that was, but stand your ground. We can't just give up and be like, "Oh, my Jesus is going to take care of me." Yeah, he is. And he's always like, "Hey, get up, do your job, it's frustrating. So I just wanted to say we have to keep taking care of
Jen,
our
doesn't
stuff here at
isn't there a
home.
thing in the Bible?
Hey, y'all ever heard of this, the 20-60-20 rule?
No,
Isn't
do
there a
tell.
thing in the Bible that says sell your plowshares and pick, buy a sword or something like that? And doesn't God take care of those who take care of themselves?
of
I remember
themselves.
hearing that
Yep.
like
I don't think it's
catechism
in
or
the.
something.
Yeah. Well,
I,
we heard it in Sabbath
God does
school.
not just come down out of the sky and do for you. You must put
no,
in the work for yourself for Him to help. Is that correct? Am I getting that right?
Yes. Yes. He gave you the free will to make the decisions to do what you need to do when you need to do it.
All right.
he
And
doesn't like laziness. He does not like
no,
laziness.
but I also don't think, I mean, I've been fooled into thinking all these years that at the same time, God would not allow a war that would trash the beautiful planet that he gave us. But honestly, I think Jerry's right. I say time and time again, God probably sits at his desk every morning with his Staples big red easy button in his hand and just hopes he doesn't have to push the button. Uh, you know, and yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
let's hope
Jesus
not.
is going to meet you at the stairway to
I'm not
heaven
sure
on
which
the way up,
direction
but it isn't
I'll
going to
go.
be before that. Huh? I'm sorry.
Well, they got something called the
I just
20-60-20
no,
rule.
I just think that you're right. I think I remember when I read the Bibles many years ago, and I remember reading stuff like that, and I know that if I do what I'm supposed to do on a regular basis, the chances are things will probably work out. And I think that's important for everyone. So, I mean, you're more than welcome to wait on God to come save you. I guess that's your business. The problem is that when when that happens, those people are begging, borrowing, and stealing from those who have prepared until God does something for them. And that may sound cruel or sacrilege or whatever, but it's a fact. Your neighbor will shoot you for what you have if they're hungry. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter if they love
And
God
they'll
or
shoot
not.
you after they take it.
So
I mean, it's, I don't know where that cars
No,
came in somewhere.
there's
that
a chicken running around. I wanted to hear about the 60-20-20. What were you going to tell us about, Ray?
Oh, they say 20% don't care, 60% ain't aware, and the other 20% do the tear. Like
Wow,
with the wheat, tearing the wheat from all that, you get it that tear.
I
So
see.
it's a saying, and it comes out to 100%. You got 20-60-20. So
That's good.
20% don't care, 60% ain't aware, and the other 20 are doing the tear.
Yep.
And we're the other 20 because it's still striking to me. It's still it's unbelievable how many Americans aren't putting their voices out there to be heard, like we are doing, and like so many others like us are doing. They just, I don't know if they just letting Jesus take the wheel, or they got to be aware, but to see them voluntarily and willingly basically say, okay, I would rather be reactionary than proactive. That's what got us in a lot of jams. Be reactive, reacting after the fact. But we get labeled as conspiracy theorists and other things when we try to be proactive, when we try to, let people know what's coming down the pipe, or what looks like might be coming. Then got a chance of the FBI coming to our house because we're putting bad stuff out that they don't want out and stuff like that. So
I just want to acknowledge Ichabod Palmer, Steve Palmer, a J6er and good friend of the broadcast, is watching. He would be with us tonight, except I understand crossbow season, I think, just ended, and rifle hunting season is starting, and he has one deer that he is just about done processing, has another one he has to do tomorrow. So you know what, people, people are doing it. I mean, people are getting what they need. It's out there. You can feed yourself. They're preparing, and please do, because if you don't, they're going to knock on your door one day, and they're just going to they probably won't even knock on the door. They'll just throw a gas bomb in your house, and you'll die, and they'll take your house and your food and your family.
Did you hear the shaman Jason Chasley's running for Congress?
Good.
My goodness! Wow.
Yeah. I hope he gets elected.
I hope so.
What,
he's got a good
what
chance.
State? What state?
I believe it's Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah. So look him up on YouTube. He's got a great interview on Newsmax too. Yep, he's running. And also in Chicago, the migrants are pissed off. They're actually getting on the buses and leaving.
They go back home because they are.
Yeah, this is shit I was going to do on my show. I'm just got a bunch of notes here.
No, this is so good. Tell us.
Hey, it's great to do.
Videos.
Hey, people, we invite William Rayfield on Boogie with the Bull Tuesday Night Live so he can have a dress rehearsal for his show. So please make sure you watch it.
It's good information. This is
they
good.
feel entitled. What the hell? They getting so pissed off because they don't have the 5-star hotels no more, and they getting put in concentration camps. Yeah.
Oh, the tents. Yeah, the tents.
Yeah, that's the move now. They're getting out of the hotels because it's affecting the businesses down there, because you got to remember there's businesses down there and people were coming in from out of town doing business, staying at these hotels, because these are downtown hotels, downtown Chicago, downtown New York, in Manhattan.
The Roosevelt, they killed it. The Roosevelt. Yeah.
Yeah, the Roosevelt, and what's the other one? The Milford Plaza, which is now the Row Hotel. Oh my goodness, and then the Stewart Hotel. So they basically got 3 hotels all sewn up in New York City. It's crazy. It's and now they have companies in New York City renting these people motor scooters. So when you look in front of the hotels, you got motor scooters lined up all down the sidewalks and all the streets. Look like China now. It's crazy. Yeah, I got a bunch of videos I'm gonna be pulling up. It's amazing. I was like, wow, it looks like damn China. It looks like, motor scooters all over the place. What the hell?
I have to interrupt the broadcast because Jen got a compliment, and I'm going to put it on the screen, and I'm going to read it. Don Smithers says, "Hello, Jen. Just a technical suggestion. Please adjust your mic so it's not in direct line with your breathing passages. It will reduce background noise and distortion when you speak. You have a beautiful voice, and we want to hear you clearly." So, some good technical advice. And Don, if
that's some good hearing
experience
right there,
and you want to join the broadcasts and talk like we do, you're more than welcome to grab the link and come on anytime. And Karen Hockley, my buddy down in Texas is watching. Let's see, Cal McMillan is watching. Daryl Rector from the American Rebellion, which I jokingly a lot of times on Facebook call the American Rebellion. I mean the American Rumble now. Is watching, and Robin Brunson is watching, and a bunch of other people watching. I hope you're sharing the broadcast, because if you don't, we don't get any views unless people see us on Facebook. If everybody doesn't share the broadcast. And the only other thing I want to say is this one. No. Yeah. Join Jerry Michaels on the American Rebellion on Rumble, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern. They end somewhere between 9 p.m. and whenever they actually end. It's like this. Matter of fact, I stole the format for Tuesday night and Thursday night live from Jerry. So, everybody gets a chance to talk. Well,
that's everybody's format.
You're stealing from us, Dave. That's probably why you're not. If you're stealing from us, Dave, that's probably why you're not getting any views. So I warned you on that.
No, so I'm not getting any views because Facebook chased you off. Facebook chased you over to Rumble, so maybe I have to go to Rumble now. But,
I got a question for Jerry.
We're doing better over there. I wouldn't say it's great, but it seems like during the live, we're getting more and more. It's just going to take a long time. It's like everything else. I like Rumble better. The only thing everybody knows I don't like, you can't put the comments up on the screen or anything, so that annoys me. But hopefully that'll change at some point because we got people. It's like you've been doing this a while. You get people who are pretty loyal to watching and so forth, and you want to include them, and it's important. Also, Daryl's a co-host on our show in the comments. Jen is usually on unless, there's something going on there. And we have a couple others that are regulars. And then, of course, there's Nick, who is the sergeant of arms. He throws out bad people, apparently, because I'm bad at it. And, we've been doing it so long. It's we have a good time. So that's the main thing. When I'm not yelling and screaming, it's fun. Otherwise, maybe not so much. But
it's not an American Rumble. The American Rebellion. I've been calling it the American Rumble now so much since you went to Rumble, but it's not really an American Rebellion broadcast. If somebody doesn't raise their voice and yell something strongly during a broadcast.
Yeah, well, it's usually me. Nick's not really a yeller. Daryl, I don't think I've ever heard yell. I've heard Daryl mad. I just haven't heard him yell yet. And,
no?
I'm relatively happy about that because I think Daryl might kill everybody if he really got mad. But,
what kind of show y'all have?
You know what it is? It's so damn frustrating, and we hear this. It's in our face every day, and blah 24/7 with the internet and TV and everything else. And I don't think I think pretty much everybody on screen here does some kind of show or another. Okay, and we all get mad, and because it's the same stupid, only worse every single day, and you can't help but get mad. And I think everyone does. So I don't know.
Oh.
But at least it's an outlet. It's an outlet.
I've been known
right,
to kick
Dave?
people off every now and then, Jerry.
I wanted to bring up a point about the government's using tents. They're going to use tents and set up tents for the immigrants because there's so many of them. I'm sorry they don't like them. Just kidding. Not really sorry. At least you got something over your head. But anyways, they're putting them in our national parks. And what's crazy about that is the first thing that Barack Obama shut down when he put the government on shutdown. He is still spending money, but he shut down the parks because I have pictures of people I know very well who were, they had a canoeing thing planned to Quamanon Falls in Michigan. And they're standing on each side of the orange barricade, lifting it, and the trucks are going through. And I'm like, oh, they can't, because they're not, it's frustrating. They don't know what they're doing, so they just shut down the parks. And if they do, and there's homeless people in there in their tents, they're in a pickle. I don't know what they're thinking, but it's funny to hear them complain, the homeless people. Maybe they can take the tent and go back to the country that they came from and live there. That would be fantastic. And if
I got a better idea. Why don't they climb on Steven's jet or the plane that Steven's going to jump off of. Jerry says, don't even give him a parachute. Give him the tent. Let him use the tent as a parachute.
Yeah.
You know,
multi-purpose.
You know, yeah. If you survive the jump, you can live in the tent, or you can get buried in the tent.
You got a house. Yeah.
You know, it's just, you know,
Crazy.
It's become a crazy world. It's like I said to Jen and William before we went live, I slept most of the day today. I just needed to do that. So I have no idea what the world news is today. Tonight's weather report is it's dark with various patches of light throughout the darkness, and in the morning it'll be the sun comes back on sometime in the morning.
Well, I'll be honest with you. This stuff is getting old. If they go and do something, they need to hurry up and do something. So I got some new stuff to talk about. Hey, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen regardless. So just hurry up and do something so I can talk about something.
Well, I mean, I hope
I was going to ask Jerry how long he thought it was going to take. I mean, I'm a realist. It's just a matter of time.
I used my couple minutes last night on the American Rebellion to basically sound off for, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 minutes. I was surprised Jerry didn't turn my mic off and then boot me because I got more heated than I've gotten in a long period of time. So we come on every night. The four of us are either on our own broadcasts throughout the week. We're on everybody else's broadcasts throughout the week. And like you just said, we talk about the same thing. Hey, people, you got to open your eyes and see what's going on. Or do you not see that this action of the government is illegal? And I just, if you haven't woken up by now, I really want to look at people and say, if you haven't woken up by now and notice what's going on, forget it. Just go back to sleep because it'll be more comfortable when you die. And that's a sad thing. That's a sad thing to say. But I'm holding 45th President Donald John Trump to something he said in an interview or at a rally. I forget where I watched it. He said the first thing he is going to do when he sits in is he is going to finish the wall. And then he said there will be the largest deportation in the history of this country. And when you listen to Mayorkas and Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley, no one seems to know the numbers on either side of what's here. But you know what? I honestly hope that's the one thing he does. And I hope people vote for him because he said that's what he is going to do.
And that's going to be a major conflict war during his time. Can you just imagine Donald Trump gets back in president and declares a mass deportation? Oh, I'd love to cover that one. That's going to really, you think dealing with this? Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, well, Lord. Donald Trump mass deportation. They're going to be riots with these millions of people all over the place, bro.
But William, we're the only country in the history of the quote-unquote free world that does not have a permanent secured border and places where if you want to go to another country or go into another country, you have to go in and show your purpose for being there and whether or not you're entitled to be there. Biden kicked out or shut off, whatever you want to call it, Title 42. Title 42, the way I understand it, said that they could pick you up walking into this country illegally. They could detain you. They had to feed you. They had to clothe you. They had to take care of you, first aid, medical treatment that you might need while they were processing whether or not you had a right to be here. Right. If you didn't have a right to be here at the end of their background investigation and vetting or whatever you want to call it, they put you on a plane and sent you home.
Yeah, but I thought we were talking about mass deportation. I just try to keep things simple. That's all. I just find it hard to believe that you're going to mass deport 10 million people. I mean, 100,000, 150,000, 200,000. Yeah, 10 million.
If it's a Trump thing, Okay.
It's going to be an uprising.
Well, if it's a Trump thing, the way I would understand it is basically immigration, criminal enforcement, ICE will show up and take you to the plane, and it may be one of our military planes that you get put on, and your country is going to get charged for the flight to drop you off to bring you back.
Okay.
And I mean that there isn't any other way. I mean, because I don't believe that even finishing the wall is going to stop the problem, stop illegal immigration.
How do we identify them? How do we identify these people, first off?
Well, according to Secretary Mayorkas, they're all given proper papers that allow them to be here. The only problem is that no one within the DHS is doing their job, which is going back and checking up on these people while they're here.
You really think these people got papers? All these
they
people
got something.
Across, you really think that there's a processing center processing these people that are they loading these people up by the thousands, gathering them together, dropping them off as quick as they can. Do you know how long it would literally take if you were really
They're dropping them off. They're handing them Social Security cards or some kind of card that they're getting money from the government. That alone tells me I don't care what they do, anything else. Our government is giving money to these people. So the people that are getting that money, there's an identity. There's a bank account. They have ways of knowing who they are. But like I said, Title 42 allowed a person to come into this country, be detained illegally, be detained, be vetted, and then if you belonged here and it was okay for you to be here, great, you were released into general population like the rest of us. But without that, no. And the trucks are still going to drive across the border at the legal checkpoints, stuffed full of people that I hope survive the trip. And even if we finish the wall by the time our broadcast ends tonight, and you couldn't just walk across the border illegally, it's not going to stop illegal people from getting here. It's not going to stop the flow of drugs, illegal drugs getting into this country, but it will make a serious dent. I mean, the Mexican cartels are operating here as the United States cartels. The government is the biggest cartel in the world as far as I'm concerned. But I mean, I'm an American citizen, and I'm tired of hearing my government
don't forget child
saying
trafficking.
that it's okay with them to bring people in here and or allow people to come in record numbers, support them, and not support our own. I worked for 41 years before I couldn't work anymore. I paid my taxes when I had to. I don't pay taxes because I'm on Social Security now, and it's tax-free money. But, I paid taxes on everything else to make up for it. But bottom line is, I do not believe that because a person hop, skip, jumped, somehow got across into the United States illegally, it's our responsibility to start supporting them if they don't have a legal right to be here. If they got a legal, valid right to be here, yeah, we got to kind of help them get set up. And all, but no. Well, I mean, help someone who's gotten here and they're legal. You got to take a citizenship class, and you got to go down. It may take 10 years before you actually get your citizenship, but you got to get your citizenship. And if you don't get your citizenship, once you get in here illegally, they vet you. It's okay for you to be here. You have so long before you can get. You have so long that if you don't get your citizenship at that point, then you leave. ICE shows up at your house and puts you on a plane. You hope Stephen hands you a tent to use as whatever, but you leave because you're now paying taxes on everything that goes to the government, that goes to support people who aren't even Americans. And the people of America are suffering. I've heard Jerry hint around before. He thinks this is the biggest third world country of them all. And he's right. I'm sorry I get heated and upset about it, but you know what? It's right. Our schools are going down to the toilet. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jerry.
The only people I know that have ever immigrated to this country were my mother and father-in-law. They came over from World War II. They were German. And they were also Polish, I'm sorry, and they were Jewish. Okay, and they had sponsors, and the government didn't help them get set up at all. They went to work, and they saved money, and they ended up owning a company, and so forth, and taking care of themselves. They paid their taxes. They did all this stuff. And you know what? I don't believe the government should do anything for them. I think that should be already set up when they come over here, to the point that they have people that will help them. Okay, these and if you are caught coming across the border, if you are caught coming across the border illegally, there is no citizenship forever. Period. There is no work visas. There's nothing. You came across the border illegally. That is the penalty. Period.
Right.
We have so many people in this country. We have no idea who they are, that they all need to go. Okay. Every last one of them.
You can't just walk across.
The government for years and years was telling us, well, we have 11 to 13 million illegal aliens in the country. Bull. I guarantee you there's that much probably in Southern California alone. Okay.
Yeah.
There are 100 million
in
or
one city
150 million
California.
Or something to that. Possibly. Yes, actually. Possibly. Yeah. LA is huge, that kind of thing. Yeah.
That 104-year-old Marine, which I keep talking about his I hope he's still alive. I wish I could get him on a broadcast. Not that anybody watches me, but I wish I could get him on and just let him tell his story. He's got Marines, I'm sure, that he served with, if they're still alive, that are probably living out on the streets because our government turned their back on them. They're not giving them VA benefits. They're not. The VA doesn't give you anything. But I mean, they're not being taken care of. I personally believe if you went into the military and you did your time and you retired and you're ranked, you're qualified for a pension when you finally retire or leave. Yeah, you get paid for the rest of your life, and we owe you a house. You ask for it wherever you want it, but we owe you. We owe you.
I think we talk about politicians. They should do a couple of terms and then go back to work and not be.
Yeah.
Same thing with veterans. Okay, and we always talking about homeless veterans this, homeless veterans that. You know something? This government has turned its back on every last American citizen in this country. It's not just veterans. Okay?
No,
veterans don't deserve a house. What people don't understand about veterans is we got paid to do what we did. Okay. Yes, some went to war, some didn't, whatever. I was one of the ones who didn't, but we got paid for what we did. Okay. For what we agreed to be paid. Okay. It wasn't like, it's like going out and getting a job and then bitching and moaning about the pay at, McDonald's or something. Okay. You agreed to get paid this much to do this work. And if you don't want to do it, then you need to, not agree to that. And, then you don't get in the military. Okay. It has nothing to do with veterans. It has to do with every last American who has been left behind by administration after administration after administration. And I'll be truthful. Trump did nothing to even that out. And why? Because he can't be president for the next 50 years to unscrew every single thing that needs to be unscrewed. Okay, he can't. It's not legal, and rightfully so. But, you know, the government of this country does not care about American citizens because it's whatever the end game is, which I believe is one world government. We don't matter. The only reason we matter is the taxes that we pay. And as you can see, we pay billions of dollars in taxes that are used for nefarious reasons to nefarious regimes for wars that we have no business being in, such as, Ukraine, whatever. Okay. And instead of, like, I don't know, fixing our roads and fixing our borders and so on and so forth, we're busy fixing somebody else's. And to what end? I mean, to what end? We have terrorists here. It's proven. Okay. It's a proven fact. We have terrorists here. We have terrorist cells here. We have all kinds of stuff. And just because you don't want to believe it, not you, but in general, just because you don't want to believe that does not make it any less true. Okay. And our government's main thing is to protect us, and they do an absolutely horrible job. To the point where you have people now standing up protecting themselves because they know the police won't be there in time. They know that the government won't be there in time, and they know everything else. And some of these people, when they protect their own home, end up in prison for protecting their own home. Not because some guy came in and tried to rob me and hurt my family. No, they're in because, well,
they shot the guy who was trying to hurt their family. Yeah.
And in the end, that guy from George Floyd, he should not be in prison right now. And we're finding this out now for sure. I knew he shouldn't have been in prison the day he got convicted. Why? Because he didn't kill that guy. Simple as that. He did not kill George Floyd. But now he's sitting in prison. It will take years for any kind of real evidence to be allowed into a court of law that doesn't have a corrupted judge, to get him out of prison for a false conviction.
Yeah.
All because they didn't want riots from people who cannot control themselves.
No, they needed a fall guy. They needed a fall guy they needed a fall guy, someone to pin the blame on. And you know what? It's wrong. And I know police officers that they still put the badge on every day. They go out, they do their job, and they're good at it. But I also know that there are bad ones that get out every day and don't do the job the right way. Or I know some that they'll get called into a crime in a certain area. They'll drive their cruiser there, tell the dispatcher they're there, so the car is being tracked as they're there, and they won't get out of their car. They will not get out of their car. And to me,
I've never heard
I look at them and I go, well, how can nothing against you, but if you're just going to drive the car there so the computer tracks you having responded to the call, maybe you don't want to be a police officer anymore. And I mean, I know it's tough because they hand you a little pistol. They hand you a little pistol, and you're going up against, you get into a house and there's 10 AR-15s pointed at you. And I can't imagine. I never had any desire in all the years that I did security. I had no desire to ever be a police officer. Never.
Me neither.
Never.
Well, I had a desire at one time, but I realized that I did not have the personality or the patience to be one. And I was in my early 20s. That's really saying something because most people in their early 20s don't know that. I did. I knew that, I would shoot somebody. Okay. I would end up shooting somebody. And,
the major thing for me is I would end up shooting someone. And even if IAB, God himself came down and said, you know what, Dave, it was a justified shot. You did your job. You did what you were supposed to do. And somebody died. I'd have to look at God and say, you know what, that's okay. But the other side of my brain, the human side of my brain says you pulled a gun and you shot somebody. Whether or not it was justified doesn't matter. I couldn't have been a cop because 9 out of 10 times I wouldn't have pulled my gun, and the 10th time I would have died, or I would have shot somebody and they would have died. And I just no.
My problem with it was that I probably wouldn't have cared. I didn't. My problem was I probably wouldn't have cared. I actually believe there are people on this planet that deserve just to not be on this planet.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not that guy to make that decision is the problem.
Yeah, no, I'm not
we
either.
have, as William had said before, we are in a battle, and I am convinced of this, and we've talked about this 100 times on our show, your show, every show. We are in a battle of good and evil, and there are a lot of people out there that have no regard for life of any kind, and those type of people need to be gone. I don't care what color they are because there's plenty of white ones out there. I've actually met some. I have met people that have never been caught, but the stories they tell, and you can believe them, they belonged in a prison. Actually, they belonged under a prison in a grave. That's how bad they were. I've met these people in AA when I was getting sober, and very nice people now, but back then, no way deserved to live out the rest of their life. Okay. And it used to piss me off completely because I did some bad shit. Don't get me wrong. But I didn't, murder people. I didn't do any of that. And they say they pay for it every day of their life. They don't pay enough. Okay. Because when they were out there doing the stuff and everything, they had no second thought about human life or anything else. And these people we could do without. And these people have always existed. They've always existed. Evil people have always existed. However, they seem to be more and more of them every day. And they are not raised correctly. They are not raised to, and there's nothing really like they're not, sociopaths or anything. They're just people who were raised very badly with no morals, no nothing. Anything was you could do. You do whatever you want, and not good, Dave. It's not good. And
I know. And
we expect the cops to go out and deal with these people every day, but eventually, the cops start not caring, and that is when you have the problem.
Yeah.
Because once the cops are just, first of all, cops are for cops. They don't care about nobody else. They don't care about you. They don't care about nothing. All they care about is themselves. And that is the point we've gotten to with the rhetoric and the actual actions of politicians and other people in this country. And I, for one, have no problem with a cop doing his job. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with the cops doing, enjoying it too freaking much is my problem with them. Okay. Yeah. And a lot of them enjoy it way too much.
Yeah.
So that's just me.
Yeah. You remember I think it was called The White Knight. Actor George Kennedy played a cop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, I hadn't heard
that. In the opening credits, he used to you see him walking down the street, flipping his his
Yeah.
his mag light. I never had a gun. I get out of a car in a security job. I had that. I never carried a gun. I never had a problem. I was never going to hit anybody with it, because if you do, it's assault and battery. You get into a judge, they take this end off, that end off, drop the batteries out. The judge says, "What is it?" And if you don't say steel pipe, he's going to smack you even worse. But I just, I just couldn't. Plus, it was hilarious. I took the gun class. I fired a 357 Magnum 6 times, and I landed on my ass all 6 times. And I said,
that's another problem. That's another problem with law enforcement and everything. They're not actually wrong about cops never de-escalate anything. They act like you're guilty the second they come in contact with you. That is a problem. But when you go back and look at the rhetoric and look at this, I mean, I don't know about you. We were brought up to respect the police, respect authority, and when you felt like you needed to, you could argue with authority elsewhere. In other words, a courtroom or something. You did not argue with them while they're giving you a ticket. You didn't call them names. You didn't do any of that stuff. And that's because I grew up at that in the 60s, where everybody was calling them pigs and everything else, much like they do now, I guess. But now they want to kill them. I don't remember anybody saying, "Let's kill all the cops."
No. Well, BLM, I think that was a BLM marching cry for a long time. We should kill. Yeah. We should kill all the cops. But I mean, I remember, growing up, 40, 50 years ago, we grew up understanding that, hey, if you got lost and you saw a cop, I mean, because we were young and you don't always remember your house, or you walk into the wrong, I don't mean wrong as in bad neighborhood, but you can't remember how to get home. And it's not like we had GPSs on our bikes, or our walkie-talkies didn't have GPS on them. You could go up to the police officer, and 9 out of 10 times, 9 out of 10 times, they'd put you on the front seat with them while they drove you home. And or I mean, I can remember a few times when I know I shouldn't have been driving, and I got pulled over. Maybe, I don't know, he followed me from wherever I was, and he stayed back the whole way. He knew who I was, and I knew who he was. And then finally, about 2 blocks from my house, he lit it up and he pulled me over. And he said, "I'm not going to cite you. I'm not going to make you do a sobriety test. I'm going to go in front of you with my lights on, right to your driveway." And I said, "No ticket, no nothing, just a hardcore wake-up call?" He said, "Absolutely." Then when I got there, he said he sat at the end of the driveway so I couldn't get out. He said, "Where are the keys?" I said, "You want to take the keys?" And he said, "Yeah, so now I'm sure that you don't go out and drive anymore." I handed him the keys. The next day, I caught up with him to get my keys back, and he said, "How did you get here?" I said, "I own the freaking business. I got 10 sets of keys to every single car." But I understood his point. And I never did it again. 9 out of 10 times, if I got pulled over for traffic, I'd listen to I hate when they say, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" Because I would politely say, not to be rude, but if I knew why you were going to pull me over, I wouldn't have done what you were going to pull me over for, because I didn't want to get pulled over. But traffic stops, most of the time, you respect them, they will respect you. And in my case, 10 out of 10 times, I never got a ticket. Never.
Well, when we were kids, they would do the same thing. A lot of times they would drive you or call your parents to come get you, usually.
Yeah.
They wouldn't cite you. They wouldn't let you drive the car. Your parent could drive it home if they wanted to, because they knew one very important thing. Your parents, knowing you were screwing up out in town and they had to come and get you because the cops called, you were going to be in a whole lot more trouble with them than you would ever be with the justice system. And then it became such a litigious society. They can't do that anymore, because if you say, for instance, were driving drunk or whatever, okay, and they let you slide, and then you went and killed, somebody, or, did a lot of damage or whatever, the cops would get sued, and rightfully so, I guess. I don't know. But
he just politely
went, the cops.
Right. He just politely went above and beyond, because what he said to me when I caught up with him the next day is he wasn't sure. He just said you were like 5 miles under you're like 5 miles under the slowest speed you should be going on most of the streets you were on. Like you were just inching along. Yeah. I said, well, it's late at night, and I didn't need, it's late at night. I was on my way home. Well, I didn't admit to anything, but I just said, if I had thought about it, I probably would have just left the car where it was and had somebody pick me up and take me home.
That's kind of a bullshit excuse. But you know what? They could do that back then, and they did it a lot.
Yeah,
they did that a lot of times. Your parent, because they knew your parents were not going to be happy. Especially when they're getting a phone call from Sergeant somebody to come get their kid that's 30 miles from the house because their kid is, drunk or, driving like a stupid. Everything you ever told your kid not to do, he's doing. So they knew that. But with the society we live in now, they can't, because what happens is they get sued. They lose their job for not doing their job. I remember when this changed. It was around the late 70s, early 80s. They stopped doing that kind of stuff, and they just took you to jail. And if you were real lucky, they would take you to the police station, and they would have this, put you in a special file and all this, and then call your parents to come get you, and that was the end of it. Yeah. But if you were in that file, you got no more breaks. You got no more nothing.
Right.
I've had friends when I was a kid be in that, whatever it was, I don't remember, I'll be truthful, but whatever it was, if you got caught doing something, it didn't even matter what it was. Again, you were going to end up, your parents were coming to the jailhouse to get you and pay your bail and whatever, which, but you live in such a litigious society where everybody wants to sue the cops for everything. People are out there trying to get them to break the law, which, in the people's defense, it doesn't take much to get the cops to screw with your constitutional rights. It really don't.
Right.
And cops should know better, and they don't. And they get sued and they lose. They don't care that they lose because it's not their money they're losing.
Right.
But it's not right.
We've gotten to a point, and you've said it, I've said it, Jen's probably said it, William probably said it, everybody's probably said it, even people watching have probably said it. We've become a society of rules that we made, allowed politicians to make, and the politicians don't have to follow those rules.
Yeah.
True. And I want to say to any member of the House or any member of the Senate, if you're not vaccinated and you're pushing getting people vaccinated in your state, you're doing something wrong. But I mean, but it's everyday violations of law. They can do this because they make the laws and they can do it. It's like Dianne Feinstein carried a gun for years, and everyone knew that she carried it because she was on the San Francisco City Council when Mayor Moscone was murdered. And from that point on, she carried a gun to protect herself. I watched a video. It was kind of interesting. I think it was pieced together, but someone was interviewing Trump. And they asked him the question, do you own a gun? And he responded, yes, I am licensed and I own a gun. And the next question was, well, where do you use it? Do you go to the range? Do you do this? Do you do that? And he looked at it and he said, personally, it's none of your business. I own a gun. I have a permit. I own a gun. And it's I don't know. It's just crazy where we are right now. You have to actually be concerned for your safety when you're in public. People are at a point where you have to carry a gun. And there's a good reason now I don't have a gun. Although when I got the dementia diagnosis, they would have taken it away from me anyway. But it's a good reason that I don't own a gun. Because my temper now is so even shorter, I'd kill everybody.
No, you wouldn't. No,
I wouldn't.
No, you
wouldn't. I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
You can buy a gun in Florida and you can carry it in your vehicle with you. It has to be 3 steps away from firing.
Yeah.
It's a pain in the ass, but
yeah,
you wouldn't go around killing everybody. As a guy that knows you, I can tell you that right now.
I wouldn't do it because
they won't take it from you, because if you buy, it's a private sale, they won't even know you have it.
I will go insane. Like I said before, if I was a cop and I pulled the gun and I killed somebody, it was a justified shot. IAB said, you're so clean, you're now the police commissioner, you're god of the police department and everything else. I'd still go home every night for the rest of my life, run it in my head, dream about it all night, trying to figure the 30 seconds that I could have done something before pulling the gun and killing somebody. So, no, I wouldn't.
Wow.
I wouldn't.
Let me ask
But now it's getting to the point where I'm... Okay, go ahead.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
All right. How would you feel for the rest of your life if somebody walked in your house, shot and killed one of your loved ones, which we hope never happens, and you had no way to stop it? They caught the guy, they threw him in prison, or they gave him the death penalty, whatever. Okay, but how would you feel then? And would it feel worse that you killed a guy trying to kill your loved ones or hurt them in some way, like your grandkids or wife or somebody?
Oh no, I would never be able to forgive.
Would it feel worse?
I mean, I would never be able to forgive someone because I'd be looking at them and going, you know what? You came into my space where you don't belong. You hurt members of my family who are not members of your family.
Not forgiving them is fine. Dave, if you had the chance to kill this son of a bitch before he killed one of yours, and you did,
I'd grab a steak knife and I'd grab a steak knife and I'd go right for the heart.
Dave, let me finish.
Okay.
There is no steak knife, Dave. You're either going to shoot this guy or he's going to kill your whoever in your house. Are you going to feel worse that you didn't kill him and one of your loved ones is dead? What's going to feel worse?
No,
that or the fact that you killed the guy who was about to kill somebody? Okay,
I'm not.
I'll guarantee you will never live down the fact.
I'm not going to feel worse if I killed the guy, because if I went to court or whatever, his court case, and I could sit with him privately and look at him and go, why? Why'd you do it?
Okay, Dave, you're not going to have any chance to do that, because here's the deal. If somebody breaks into your house and they are holding your grandson or something, you're going to need to put a bullet in them and they're going to be dead. So there's not going to be any talking.
Right.
But would you feel worse if your grandson was dead and that guy was in there and you were able to talk to him, or would you feel worse that he's dead and your grandson's alive? Okay, that's why you own a gun. Because I'm going to tell you something. Somebody breaks into my house and it's, I feel like it's going to kill me and my wife, or anybody else around me. I'm not going to have any compunction. Put a bullet or as many as I can into that son of a bitch, and I will sleep like a freaking baby. However, if I'm unarmed and I watch my family or somebody die because of this guy, and I manage to somehow live, I'm there. I'm going to kill myself because I'm never going to be able to live with myself.
No, if the guy got past the Rottweiler, the guy got past the Rottweiler because he killed the Rottweiler, I'd kill him.
Dave, you're not listening. Has nothing to do with Rottweilers. It has nothing to do with dogs. It has to do with safety of you and your family. Okay?
Right.
And I'm going to tell you something. There will be no discussions with the bad guy if I take care of it, because he's going to be dead before the cops get there.
Yeah.
Because and I will go whistling a merry frickin' tune to jail over it, because there is nobody on this planet that's going to come into my home or into my space outside of my home and do anything to me or my loved ones, or, for that matter, somebody I don't even know, because that's just the way it is. And I'm not going to feel bad about it one damn bit, because I'm going to say it was him or my loved ones. It was him or my wife or whoever it is, or myself, period. Okay, you got to start thinking about this crap, because unfortunately, and I do mean that, this shit is going on in every town in America.
Every day.
Big or small.
Every day.
Yes. Every day.
Every
now,
day.
Am I saying go out and get the biggest gun you can find? No, go out and get the one that you feel comfortable with. And then, when you pull that out one dark night, you better be ready to use it, which means you better know what you're doing.
Yeah, I wouldn't pull it out.
And it's not that hard.
Right. No, I know.
Well,
no. I mean, I in the moment, of course. Yeah, in the moment, this talk, I wouldn't pull it out. I wouldn't fire at somebody. We all know that's a crock of crap. In the heat of the moment, I'm going to pull the gun out and I'm going to empty the 6 shots, and I'm going to hit 6 places that he or she or it would have died from any one of those 1 shots, of course.
Yeah. And then you're going to sit down and, you're going to think about it, and knowing you'll overthink it. But here's what I will.
I will.
It was your loved ones. It was somebody, or it was him. And it's always better when it's him, because, as sad as that is to actually say, all right, because it is kind of sad. It is the truth, because this is the times we're living in. We have politicians everywhere in every town that don't give a damn about us. If somebody comes out here and starts a gunfight, I won't see a cop for 20, 30 minutes or more, because they'll be down at the end of the driveway somewhere, or down the street trying to figure out how to get on the property without getting shot. So who does that leave to protect my property? It leaves me. My entire property is surrounded by trees. They can't see the house. They can't see anything. Okay. And I can sit there and give that 911 operator every piece of information that she wants, and they're still going to come up and say, we didn't know what was going on. It's ridiculous. Okay, so I don't trust my personal safety to anyone but me, because in the end, the cop ain't going to be standing there to stop the guy shooting me or shooting at somebody I don't even know. Okay, in I don't know, Walmart or some damn place like that. They're not going to be there.
Right.
Okay, they're going to come afterwards like janitors and clean up the mess. That's what they do. And you may think that's harsh.
No, it's like Alan said it, but just put it up on the screen. Hell, if the SOB comes into my house, threatens my dog, 911 will be called and told to bring the coroner. And I'd be a little bit different in my case, Alan. After I shot and killed the guy and he's bleeding out, I'd hand him my cell phone and tell him to call 911.
I don't know if I'd want him to have my cell phone. I just,
I
can tell you, Alan, too, and most people, he's going to be dead before he hits the floor in my house. And if he ain't, I'm going to just figure out a way to stand over him to make it look like I was standing straight at him, and I'm going to shoot him again until he's dead. Because you know why? Dead guys can't testify against you, and all they have is evidence, and evidence can be beaten. And if you do happen to shoot somebody, here's the first thing you don't do. You don't answer questions because there is always going to be someone in the criminal justice system that wants to put you in prison for the rest of your natural life because they don't like guns. Okay? Especially if you kill somebody, you're a white guy and they're black or Hispanic or whatever. Doesn't matter if they're in your house robbing you. Doesn't matter they came in your house with a gun and were holding you, hostage or whatever. None of that matters. It only matters the skin color. You don't believe me? Ask Derek Chauvin.
Or the fact that they're an illegal immigrant. But this is what I've been saying. To me, this is the theme of this broadcast and the broadcast I've been on and done in like the last month. And maybe it's heightened in my head because I have dementia now, but I can't remember when the United States of America changed from what it was us growing up to where it is now.
Well, it's not you. You're right, first of all.
And I mean, it's not because I wake up with dementia every morning. It gets to the point some days, the honest to God's truth is that I'll sit down at my desk, set up the studio on the desk at 6 o'clock, 6:45, I get 15 minutes before we go on, and I spend the 15 minutes thinking, is it going to make any difference? Is it going to save anybody?
Yeah.
And
I know, Dave.
And 9 out of 10 times, I could convince myself not to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And radio, I love radio. I got to the station 20 minutes before I went on, made a pot of coffee. 5 minutes before I sat down, and I was, I loved my job. I loved that job.
Yeah.
But, it just feels weird to. The first question I ask myself when I get done is, did we do something? Us guys that do this, girls that do it, are we doing something right?
All I can tell you is this. First of all, you're right about every single thing you just said. I have gone through that probably as many times as you have. And you just sit there and you shake your head like, the hell am I doing? I mean, it's getting worse. It's not getting better because in 10 years, it has not gotten better. It's gotten worse. Okay. And all I can tell you is the way I look at it is I get to go on with people I like.
Yep.
Okay. You, Nick, Daryl, Alan over here, Larry Burns from Canada, these people that, I've been around for a long time on the internet. Okay. I get to go on there with people like that I enjoy it.
Yeah.
And also, I think we are an outlet to a certain extent for people who need it because, as I keep saying, we're inundated with garbage every single day. I don't care who you are, you're inundated with garbage. And if we can be an outlet for somebody to get rid of being pissed off, or we can be an outlet for somebody who's hurting, or somebody who just needs to not feel like, they're all alone out here and they're the only ones feeling that way. Then by God, we did do something. Okay. And that's all I can tell you, because as far as the world changing, we ain't done it.
You actually did something that I don't think I've ever seen anybody on Facebook do. After 10 years of doing your broadcast, a little longer, I'm sure, you up and left Facebook. Nobody leaves Facebook.
Well,
Zuckerberg knew from the minute he turned it on, nobody was ever going to leave it.
Well, it's because one, you know what it was? It's simple. It was actually Daryl's idea, and it, we had kicked it around for a while, and everybody had that idea at one point or another. That was just the right night, and Daryl said it, and I just said, screw it, let's do it, because you go on Rumble. Alan was the first person last night that had a problem because he was commenting too much. I don't know
Yeah.
what the hell that's about. But you say a lot more, and you can so
I've never seen that I've never gotten that comment. I know that if I'm watching on my Chromebook, there's a counter, and you're only allowed 500 characters in a comment. So after 500, you have to stop and start a new comment.
Yeah, but he sent me the thing that they sent him, like a screenshot of the thing that they sent him, and it said, "You're commenting too much," which is, I've never even gotten that on Facebook. I've gotten you share too much, which is ridiculous. I've gotten too much. Yeah. Every time I do your show, I'll hit the thumbs up like 6 times in a row, and then they tell me I can't do it anymore because I'm doing it too much. So what that tells me is the thumbs ups and the comments and all that, okay? That's how that gets you into a higher bracket on Facebook to get more views, and they put it out more. All those things. So if they're telling you you can't do that on, like, say, our show or yours, okay, that means that they don't want you to do that, and they don't want your show to go up. It's that simple. And one of the reasons that, and no commenting, I don't get that at all. But I have found that on Rumble, obviously, nobody is getting. You can't say that because it's mean to someone, and they take down your comment, or they won't let you back on, or whatever happens there. That doesn't happen so far, so I'm good with that. But I think all social media shadow bans a certain amount, because once you put up a social media site, you want advertising to pay for all that stuff. And once the advertising comes through, they're the ones who dictate what goes on the site and what doesn't. And that's a huge really problem too.
Blows me away with that is that say the American Rebellion was really getting 100,000 views every night. Facebook is making all kinds of money because they run ads. Once they post you into Facebook Watch, they're running all kinds of ads on you.
Right.
It may be a broadcast that they don't want on Facebook, but 100,000 people are watching it. Advertisers that like us support the things that we talk about. They're going to come to Facebook, and they're going to want to buy you the American Rebellion every night it's on, and spend as much as they can because they reach 500,000 people a week.
Well, they already make millions of dollars a day selling your data, so they don't really care. And they are part of the New World Order. And they're a major part of the New World Order and its damn rhetoric and all the rest of the bullshit. So they don't like us because much of what we're saying is true. Okay. And maybe we don't have it exactly true, but we're real close. Okay. They don't like that because they don't, and if they can shut you up, that's what they do, and they'll lose the money on, say, you. And then, Dave, how many times have you got on Facebook seen porn? Okay. But, I reshared what I got in my feed one time, and it got taken down because it was against community standards. I shared it because it was on Facebook to prove a point, basically, and they take it down. But the original post was still there. So it's like, okay, what are you doing? You know what I mean? And I have not liked Facebook for many years. And I mean, when I used to first start doing videos, especially when live videos came on, I'd get thousands of views, within a week or two, whatever, you get 6,000, 8,000, and it was fine, whatever. They didn't have monetization back then. They didn't have any of that stuff, but at least you knew that what you were saying, people were listening to, and thankfully, and then you read the comments and whatever, and you would, all that was great. But now, obviously, that's all changed and gone. If you ask me, way harder on the shadow banning than it was.
Oh yeah,
like I don't know, what, 2
absolutely,
years ago, way harder.
absolutely.
So I just and it was just he said it. Daryl said it at just the right time, and I was like, you know what, screw it, we'll do it. And it's okay. I mean, listen, they're not going to shut us up because we can always move somewhere else and just keep going. But they are going to limit to who actually hears whatever we say or is allowed to agree or disagree with you on what you say in a calm and decent manner, and that's, you got to go with that, I guess. I don't like it, Dave, but anyway, I got to get going. I didn't realize it was 9.
Yeah, no, don't
So
go take care of your wife and your responsibilities there, and I hope the rain doesn't get too bad down there.
it's like, you know what it is? It's that rain that it's just hard enough to be useless, and make up your mind kind of thing. It's either going to let it rain or just stop. That's
I used to like it. When we first moved down here, it was during the couple of months of rain where it rained almost every day. And one of the catch lines on the intro of the broadcast was, and there's a 4 p.m. percent chance of rain today. Because like clockwork, I could roll up my window shade at 3:55 and just sit there. And at 4 o'clock, boom, like a typhoon. 4:15, the sun was out, the ground was dry, and you couldn't even tell that it rained.
Yeah. Well, it used to actually really be that way in the summertime down here. It would rain for literally 15, 20 minutes, like we were going to all need to build the ark. And then literally, like you said, half hour, 45 minutes later, it was dried up. You never know it was raining. And everybody's kind of amazed by that. But, what stopped that from happening and started the drought we always have in Florida in the summer, if you pay attention to it, especially in South Florida, is that they built all the condominiums on the beach, okay? And it blocked a lot of stuff. And the condominiums are like huge. So they built out the Everglades and they ruined the natural drainage the Everglades had because humans apparently know more than nature does, but whatever. And they did a lot of, construction and did this and that and the other, and they stopped that type of weather from happening. And back in the day, you didn't really need sprinkler systems for your grass or any of that stuff because it would rain every day, and it would rain hard, so the ground got soaked, and you were good. Now, everything dies. So I don't know.
All right. Well,
I'm not a genius, but
if I keep you talking, we'll both be here until 5 minutes before you go live tomorrow. But
okay. Yeah. All right.
No.
I'll send you a link tomorrow.
Yeah, please send me a link.
I'll send you a link.
Yep.
I'll send you a link to come on tomorrow.
Let's see. Don sent another comment that Gerard K. Michaels guy is hilarious. What kind of meds is he on? He's asking for a friend. I think it's called
I'm not
life.
on any meds. I don't need any meds. Yeah, I don't need no meds. I'm good.
I think it's life, and he takes a heavy dose at about 4 o'clock in the morning when he finally goes to sleep. So I understand. You get a lot of sleep every night. You lay down about 4 o'clock in the morning, and 4:15 you're awake.
My main personality trait is smartass, so that's what I do. And sometimes it's really funny. And sometimes it's a lot funnier in my head than it is out loud. But we all
Yeah.
got to deal with the stupidity
We
of
do.
life, and which is worse than when we were young and everything.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
let's face it. But that's how I deal with it. I try to be humorous. Some
Yep.
people don't get my humor.
That's
I'll give you
okay.
that, but we do what we can.
Sometimes I don't
Yeah.
even get my own humor.
What are you gonna do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll
Yeah,
watch
like
a
I said,
broadcast
sometimes
and
it
I'll
makes it a
go,
lot funnier.
did I really say that?
Sometimes it's in my head. It's a lot funnier than when it actually comes out. So
Yeah.
you got to take the girl with the bed, I guess. I don't know.
Yep.
Anyway, I'm gonna go. Thanks a
All
lot,
right,
Dave.
Jerry.
I
It was
appreciate
a
it.
pleasure.
We'll be out
I
tomorrow
will see
night
you
on
tomorrow.
Rumble, American Rebellion, 7 p.m. Eastern. If you want to join us, you can get in touch with me on Facebook. I'll make sure you get a link, and I think you have to have an account over there, but I'm
Yeah,
not
you do.
positive.
Actually, I don't know. I have an account.
Okay,
so
yeah.
I have an account to
Well,
link.
yeah, I think you have to have an account. You probably have to have an account to comment. If you just want to watch, then maybe not. I don't know. Work it out. Well, everybody work it out. I don't know. I
They
can't make
do.
an
They
account.
need to work it
That's all I
out.
can tell you.
They need to work it out. I mean,
Yeah, work it out.
We're doing a broadcast on there. People got something. People that are watching on Rumble got something they want to say. Dr. Smithers wants to know what kind of med you're on, so he can recommend it to somebody else. All right, Jerry, always a pleasure. Like I said, send me a link, and I will see you.
I have.
What?
All right, thank you, Dave. Appreciate you letting me on.
Pleasure. Jerry Michaels, the American Rebellion, or as I call it now, the American Rumble, over there on Rumble, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, just like they were on Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern. If you are on and you're watching it on Rumble, take it and share it back over to Facebook everywhere you can. Same thing I tell people: if you watch a Boogie with the Bull broadcast on Facebook, either share it to other places that we don't, because I try to send it out. Some groups will take it and post it. Some won't. I don't care. But, and if you want it in a group that it's not in, let me know. And we'll make sure that we send it there. Alan McMillan, a pleasure having you. Don Smithers, a pleasure having you. Send me a friend request. I'd like to talk with you because you sound like somebody who, even from a technical point of view, might be fun to have on the broadcast. Anyway, Larry Burns, I tried to add you into the new link group. I did kill the other one and reset it up again. Different set of rules. I couldn't. It wouldn't let me add you, so I did. I sent you. I thought a link, but I will try to get you added into the link. Get you added into the link group. And Randy Rhodes, I know you watch. You're always welcome to come on. Everybody's always welcome to come on. And unfortunately, what I got to tell people is you either have a thick skin over what people may say about you while you're on and say to you while you're on. You just got to kind of deal with it because everybody has something to say, and Boogie with the Bull was set up to be the vehicle that everybody could just come and say it. Whether we get 38 views on a broadcast, where Ichabod Palmer's mic was backtrack echoing through the broadcast, or we get 50 views, 80 views, and I don't even look at I get impressed when I see the final views and where it is before the next broadcast. But realistically, it doesn't mean anything because I don't think Facebook accurately shows views on things that they don't want. Because if they told me that it's not, we get 50 views, 80 views, even 100 views, sometimes it's probably more like we get 5,000 views, 8,000 views, maybe 10,000 views. They don't want me to know because if I know, then I'm going to stay here. I'm going to stay here anyway. I mean, I'm going to be on Facebook until they take me away, block me, and basically don't allow me to get back on Facebook. But that won't stop me. I'll go someplace else because YouTube, we send the broadcast there. So watch it on Facebook, share it on Facebook. If you want to share it on another social media network, which I encourage you to do, go to the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel, subscribe to the channel, and take any Boogie with the Bull broadcast there and share it everywhere else you can. We are embedded on StreetLock. That means if you go to StreetLock, StreetLock, streetlock.com. Go to streetlock.com, join the Boogie with the Bull True Patriot Talk group there. We are embedded there, so we're live there every single night. You can't comment. You can only watch the broadcast. So for now, when StreetLock finishes the implementation of their live stream system, StreetLock Live, you will be able to watch and you will be able to comment. But for now, the only two places you can comment are the post on my profile, wherever it gets shared, and the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel. William Grant, always a pleasure to have you watch. Randy Rhodes, you are welcome to watch and or be on the broadcast. Alan McMillan, you're welcome to be on the broadcast. Larry Burns, like I said, I will make sure that you are getting links and you're welcome to come on anytime you want. Daryl, if you're out there, you're welcome to come on. The main reason I took the link group down last weekend was that really I only put it up and most of the people that I invited into it that I wanted to be on the broadcast weren't really coming on the broadcast. So I killed it. But you're more than welcome to come on and be part of a Boogie with the Bull Thursday night live or Tuesday night live or anytime we're on to be a part of the broadcast. The link will always be made available, or just tell me you need a link and I'll message it to you. You got to have StreetLock. You have to have Facebook Messenger in order to get a link to one of our broadcasts, or you just got to tell me and I'll get you the link any other way I can. Anyway, it's 9:17. It's almost time for bed. And hug your family, love your family, talk to your family every single day. Remember, they were here for you, and sometimes you have to be there for them. My mother actually called me out of the blue today, and we had a nice chat. And I try to call her at least once a week, make a note. But because of my dementia, I forget and I don't. But yeah, keep in touch with your family, even if it's email. Write your mother an email every couple of days and tell her what's going on, and keep that going back and forth. Or start a family group on Messenger, and everybody can just post and communicate with everybody that they want. Or I don't know. Do a Zoom or some kind of teleconference, but just keep in touch with everybody and your neighbors, My point through a lot of this is that I don't want to worry about every time a house is sold on either side of me or in the neighborhood who's moving in. And I don't want to automatically prejudge them because of who they are or what religion they are. I just don't want to do that, Live your life the way you want to live your life, and support and be around other people that want to live their life the same way and be happy. But don't let that become the only way of life in the United States and force it on everybody else. I don't want to hear it. I really don't want to hear it. And, I want my Christian friends on Facebook to understand that I am not against them or their Savior, Jesus Christ, in any way whatsoever. What I'm tired of is Facebook having seemed to go crazy, encouraging groups and people to post that stuff on their news feed that God is coming, Jesus is coming. It's like a lot of my friends, out of my almost 3,000 friends, this time around. They comment on my profile every day, but it's some kind of religious thing. That's fine. I'm glad that I have friends and they do it. But you want to post a daily prayer, that's fine. If you want to post a daily prayer on Facebook, chant a daily prayer. You really want a good Sunday prayer. If Odessa Roberti is still doing her, I think, Sunday morning prayer service in her I think it's Bring His Harvest is the group. If she's still doing it, you should watch that. It's great. It's music, prayer, and anybody, regardless of what their religion may be, is welcome to watch and take part. I used to, and I'm Jewish. You have a right to be anything you want. You just don't have a right to be radicalized to the point where it's only your way or the other way. And that's all I'm going to say on that one. It is open season, I guess. And as I joke about it every year around this time, it seems to be the Get Dave Saved open season marathon. And, I'm going to tell you, people, for 14 and a half years on Facebook, no one's ever gotten it done. Matter of fact, a retired preacher who used to watch way back in the early days used to, in the live chat, try to get me saved. And I believe when he passed away, it was mentioned in his documents about his life. And so I encourage you to try it. I'm glad that everybody feels they have to protect me, but be more concerned that you have to protect me from myself than from anybody else. Anyway, the final comment of the night from Don Smithers. And Don's going to have to come back and be a part of every broadcast, Don, because you've complimented Tennessee. You've complimented everyone so far. You do a great service, Dave. Good to see you out there. You and your show are refreshing. Well, I'm just a small guy. We call ourselves the No Budget Broadcasting Company because we don't have the money to do this. It's Android tablets and Chromebooks and StreamYard, and soon it'll be Rumble. And YouTube doesn't charge us. Facebook doesn't charge us. I had a discussion with God one day, and God said, "This is what you need to do. Don't worry about the equipment. You'll always have the equipment to do it. And when that equipment is tired or you need more equipment, I'll make sure you have that equipment." So, the only blessing might be if some major internet network called me tomorrow and said, "We want to put you on our network and we want to build you a studio and this, that, and the other thing." And have to be the blessing from God that got somebody to do that. And you don't really need any fancy stuff. And everybody's heard me talk about Boogie with the Bull Boot Camp, which is, I've always said, if you ever thought about wanting to do a broadcast like this, come on, play with us for a week or a month, and I'm sure Jerry will invite you on to the American Rebellion. If you decide you want to do it, the next step I tell people is go to StreamYard, StreamYard.com, download the demo 20-hour a month free package. You get 3 cameras, I think. Yeah, you get 3 cameras and you get 1 camera, 1 destination. Yeah, but you can you get 20 hours free use every month. And then if you decide you want to do it, then that's when it starts costing you money. And it's not very much money. It costs us $25 a month for StreamYard. It costs us $10 a month for Rumble. So like $35 a month. And like I said, the only expense is that when a Chromebook dies or when an Android tablet dies or needs to be upgraded. So it's really not expensive. You don't need a big fancy studio to do this. I can take my Chromebook, my tablet, and enough rechargeable battery life to be live for a week from anywhere. So, I mean, it's really not expensive. And like I said, if you want to be a part of it, let me know. You are more than welcome. You're more than welcome. Don, I'm going to have to go look at your profile and send you a friend request. We can help you with tech support. Don't you worry about that. Well, you know, I will talk to you, because if I've always said, with the right people on the team, we can be anywhere. And I'm not out to be an internet celebrity. I'm not out to be recognized when I'm out in public. You know, I always tell people, if you actually watch me and you see me, yeah, come up, introduce yourself, and we'll talk. And I appreciate that. But you know, we made the ceramic mug, the beautiful bipartisan Boogie with the Bull mug. You can hold it in your left hand if you're a leftist Democrat socialist, and watch Boogie with the Bull. You can hold it in your left hand and show support. But by the grace of God, if you are a card-carrying, loyal, conservative patriot, as I call us, you can hold it in your right hand. And unfortunately, it came up more expensive than we thought. It's $20 because it's $10 to make it, and to ship it so that it doesn't break, it's another $10. It's $20. You can talk to Jen Woodruff if you want one, because she has an Etsy store or something like that somewhere that you can order it from. I think it takes about a month from the time you order it to the time that you get it, because we go through, the reason it's so expensive is because we go through a place that will print one at a time. And I can get you a mug, Don. I have one sitting on my desk. This one, I made it because I like ceramic mugs more than I like the travel mugs for broadcast, and I never drank it. But I will, I'll send you, you know, friend request Jen Woodruff, and then message her and tell her that you want to buy a mug. We don't make anything. We don't make anything for them. I mean, I think Jen might get a couple of dollars from the place that we go through, and I don't really care. I never started this to merchandise stuff, you know, and a lot of times merchandising becomes a big hassle, but the mug is there. We're working on a travel mug only because that seems to be the easiest thing. I have one that people are going to get for Christmas presents that we'll see. But anyway, Don, I will contact you after the broadcast. Everybody else, it's time to go to bed. My wife just brought the laundry in. It's 9:27. She has to go to work tomorrow. I have to get up tomorrow and go to the doctor, because that's all you do when you have dementia is you check your banking every day to make sure that your Social Security check went in and you still have money to spend, and you go to the doctor and spend more money. Anyway, it's been a lot of fun. This has been one of the better broadcasts. I'm sorry, William Rayfield got knocked off because of some problem with his power, the main power strip in his studio. So we'll get him back maybe Thursday night if he is available. And hopefully Ichabod Palmer will get his iPad situation taken care of. He used his phone, and that's why we had the really bad 38 watched Boogie with the Bull Echo broadcast, which is still up. You can go to the YouTube channel and watch it. And you really don't want to watch it, because I got mad because it was a technical problem and we couldn't take care of it. We couldn't figure it out. I knew it wasn't on my end. I knew it had to be on his end. We just couldn't figure it out. The main thing I tell people is, if I send you a link to a broadcast and you're watching it on Facebook, you have to turn the volume down on Facebook while you're live on the broadcast, or just watch it on the broadcast like I do. I mean, I'm guilty. I got a monitor over here that watches it on my profile. And, it's hard to do, but it's really not that difficult. And if Don is a tech support kind of guy and interested in getting involved and helping with that, it'd be really cool to have Boogie with the Bull buttons made for the side of the headphones. I don't want to get into any of that. I mean, I could talk for hours about what the ideal studio would be like. This is the ideal studio. I just need to clean up my desk and have more room. And I'm glad everybody watched tonight. It's 9:30. It is time to go to bed. I will make sure you get the information on how to get a mug. Anybody who wants it, it's a white mug with the Boogie with the Bull uncensored logo on it, because that's what we called the broadcast for a while. But it's probably going to be changed to one label or one logo will say Boogie with the Bull Tuesday Night Live, and then on the other side it'll say Thursday Night Live. And but we'll get it all figured out. I promise. There are more important things to worry about than buying a Boogie with the Bull mug. We didn't do this, like I said, we didn't do this to monetize it, to get rich off of doing it. We did it because I enjoy it. The people that come on enjoy it. The people that watch it enjoy it. Facebook may or may not enjoy it. I don't know. In the 4 years, they probably sent us 4 serious copyright violations, and three of them said, no problem. Just the next time you know that you're going to use something of ours that's copyrighted to us, contact this person, and we'll make sure that you have permission. So anyway, I can talk about it all night long, the technical aspect, the production aspect. But really what it is it's no silver than at 6 o'clock I sit down and I put it together, and at 7 o'clock we go live, and when we end, we end. Anyway, we're going to end right now because it's time for me to go to bed. Problem was, I didn't drink my iced coffee this morning, so I've been sipping on it all night, so I'm super caffeinated. And speaking of caffeine, we talked with the Fat Cup Coffee Company. I messaged them to see if they would be interested in a sponsorship trade out, mentioning them because their house blend coffee is one of the best coffees I've ever had, either hot or cold. One of the best coffees I've ever had. Go to the Fat Cup Coffee Company Facebook page. That will take you over to the Fat Cup Coffee Company website. You can see different roasts that they have, some flavors, I think. I think they can even get you K-cups of some of their coffee. I got sent, I think, a pound grounded, but I'm going to ask I'm going to look to see if they have it in K-cups, because we have a Keurig. And when you deal with dementia, sometimes you make a big mess if you go into the kitchen to make a cup of coffee. So we have a Keurig, and we use K-cups, so I don't make a big mess. But anyway, I sit here and ramble all night long, but folks, it was great. I'm glad you watched. And like I said again, if you ever want to be on a broadcast, 9 out of 10 times, the link will be on the screen, at the bottom of the screen. And yes, even on Facebook, you can in fact see it. It takes a second to get there when I send it there. But that's something I make sure of, because everybody has a right to be on the broadcast, and you don't have to be a talk master of world politics and anything. You got something you want to say, come on and be on. And if in any way Don Smithers can help us move to the next step and expose more people to us, that would be fantastic. And I will hold to my creed, Boogie with the Bull boot camp. You want to learn how to do it, come and learn. Anyway, if I don't shut up, it'll be 6:55 tomorrow night before Jerry goes live at 7. It is a pain in the ass that I guess you can't the comments from Rumble live broadcast don't come through StreamYard like comments from every place else are supposed to, but I guess it's a Rumble thing, and they don't want that. I'm going to talk to somebody I know, a technical person, because Rumble connects to StreamYard with a key code and pass or something. It's two things. It's a key code and a password of some kind. And maybe that technology for them doesn't allow their the comments on their broadcasts to get sent to third-party streamers. I honestly don't know. If it is something that's how they have, well, it's 2023, and I think they need to grow up and have it. The people watching are as important, if not more important, to me on a broadcast than the people who are on the broadcast. But anyway, like I said, I'm not going to shut up if I don't shut up, because, like I said, I made the mistake of drinking super caffeinated coffee at about 7 o'clock this evening. But we all have fun. Sometimes I ramble too much, so I'm going to stop rambling. So Randy Rhodes, you're welcome to join us on Thursday if you want. William Grant, I hope to see you on Thursday. Alan McMillan, I always hope to see you on. And yeah, I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to end the broadcast by saying that I hope one day Matt, who was on the American Rebellion, comes back to the American Rebellion. And if he does, I hope we are honored to have him on Boogie with the Bull Tuesday and Thursday, or one of them, or I don't know, whatever it becomes. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now and probably go to bed and have big dreams that Don Smithers is going to get into contact with me and turn out to be the big guy at Big Guy Internet Network, and maybe we'll grow. Anyway, take care. Live well and prosper. Have a great evening. This is the part of the program where I look at you and I say, you've been watching Boogie with the Bull Tuesday Night Live, a copyrighted presentation of the No Budget Broadcasting Company. We own it all. We say it all. We do it all. If we violate your copyright, please let us know, and we will fully apologize and hopefully work out a copyright agreement with you that gives us permission. If we violate your copyright and you won't even tell us why we violated it or how we violated it, then we will fight you. And we did that once, and we'll talk about that later. Anyway,